Hello, I'm Aline Maalouf, Executive Vice President at NEEZO Studios. Joining me today is Sam Mizrahi of Mizrahi Developments. NEEZO Studios and Mizrahi Developments have been working together for over 12 years now. We first started with working with Sam on his first real estate residential project back when it was Mizrahi Design Build. And now with Mizrahi Developments, we've worked on Lytton Park Townhomes, 128, 181 Davenport, 1451 Wellington, and now just recently the one. And this is why we are here today, so we can go over the Penthouse limited collection and talk about NEEZO's role in the design, renderings, and animation of this project. So Sam, first off, I want to start by saying you are definitely working on the most prestigious, amazing project in the city. It's brimming with luxury and exclusivity. How do you select your partners to bring your vision to life?
We select partners that share the same vision we do and that basically mirror the developments that we're looking to build and share the same value system. So from day one, all of our partners were partners that we really wanted to work with, that shared the same passion and the same ideology and ethos of what we wanted to build and develop, and all of our partners reflect that, and it comes out into the buildings that we build.
How would you say NEEZO's renders and animation help in creating your vision of luxury to bring it to life?
Well, NEEZO always, from day one when we first started to work together, you understood and NEEZO understood what we wanted to bring to life. They understood the details, and before you create something, you have to breathe soul into it. And NEEZO brought that into the animation world, where it's not just a animation or a rendering. There was life to it, and there was a soul to those animations, and it's very, very hard to do that, and very few can do that. No different than with buildings.
Yes.
So it's an art, and we recognized that art with NEEZO day one, and it was reflective of what we wanted to share, and it grew from there. And NEEZO got better at it, and the animations and renderings got better. And now it's at a point where you really are the best. We've looked at so many different rendering and companies, and nothing compares to what NEEZO does. And it reflects what our buildings are when they're completed.
Thank you, and I'm glad you like it, and we enjoyed, and we still enjoy working on every single one of your projects.
Thank you.
So when we were both working on the project, there were some features and details that I would like you to elaborate on. For instance, you wanted us to model and add baccarat chandelier, vases, and decoration and tableware. So where did this idea come from for you to use this brand, and how did you partner with this luxury brand in order to use it in the limited collection?
Well, we look at what we are building first, and we're building timeless, classic architecture. Nothing is trendy in what we do and develop. It's not in today, out tomorrow. What we're after is timeless and something that doesn't matter what era you're in, what timeline you're in, it's luxury. And when we were looking at bringing in other brands or putting in other brands into the building, you're now really adding the jewelry to the building.
That's true.
Right? And when we're looking at what brands are that jewelry, baccarat is of course one of them. And when you're looking at chandeliers and lighting, who better than baccarat in order to create that timeless luxury? And our clients identify with that. It's an international brand. It's an international luxury item. It's timeless, and we again look at who do we partner with that's going to create that timeless design and jewelry and aesthetics and finishings, and all of those are very important. And baccarat was one of those that, for me, since I was a kid, I always looked at it and aspired at their creations and their art. And it was, for me, there was no thought about anybody else coming in, and if we're going to do lighting and so forth in the limited collection, how we're going to decorate those suites.
Honestly, the animation looked, when we zoomed in on the chandelier, it was amazing, and even it was intricate to model, but it's an amazing choice that you did to just add them to the luxury collection.
Every detail is art, right?
True.
Right down to the
True.
Chandeliers and the door hardware and the hinges.
And it's what distinguishes you as well.
Yeah, it differentiates.
When you're going up to the penthouses, every penthouse has an elevator dedicated probably to it, and
Correct.
it goes from floor to floor.
Correct.
So aside from the elevators, there's a majestic spiral staircase. What made you come up or use that shape instead of like just your regular staircase?
We want to create homes. So we're home builders first. And even if you're building a skyscraper or a mid-rise building, they're still homes. And for me, part of a home is always having a staircase. Yes. I've never gone into a home, luxurious home. I mean, you have bungalows and so forth without them, but for me, it was just another feature that resonates with being a home. And so having a grand staircase adds, that home feeling to it. There's a drama to it. It adds another feature that you normally don't get in condominium buildings. You only get them in homes. And again, we want to differentiate where, when you're looking at condo buildings and residences, we wanted to create that aesthetic that's again feeling like a home, and a staircase does that.
That's nice. And for the kitchen, are you giving your buyers the option to select any style they want, or do they have to stick with contemporary European, same as what we have in the renderings? Or?
With us, the homeowner has a magic wand. And when they purchase from us, they have a magic wand to really design and to customize however they want. There's really no limitations on the kitchen or any part of the design when they purchase a home with us. So it's really whatever they want.
So they have the full flexibility.
Absolutely.
Which is amazing.
Absolutely. Especially in
everybody hangs out in the kitchen.
Correct. And so especially in condominium buildings, you're usually limited with 4 choices.
That's true.
Or 4 selections, where for us there are no limits. It's really whatever the customer homeowner wants.
Between the living room, the family room, and the office, there's a door wall which is made of wood panels that's separating both spaces. What made you use the door wall to separate them?
It's an arrival. What I wanted was always a space of circulation between spaces, and to delineate them, but at the same time to create an arrival into each space, so that you're leaving one space, arriving into another through a medium. And that wall system that we did and the finishes that we did creates this wow factor, that even a small detail like that of leaving one space and entering into another is still done in a very artistic way, and still in a very unique way, and there's still a lot of luxury even within that transitional space.
And it also helps you see the view.
Absolutely.
Especially if there's one room that has more view than the other.
Absolutely.
Moving to the terrace. Every terrace is going to have an infinity pool that will overlook, the city, with breathtaking views of the city. Will every penthouse have an infinity pool? And if yes, will it have the waterfall feature with the water flowing from the exoskeleton down to the pool?
The answer is yes to all of it. Every penthouse has an infinity pool. Every penthouse has the water feature. It's up to the homeowner whether they want to customize that water feature, or they want to augment it and change it, or do something different with it. But we provide it for all the penthouses. And it's very unique. The terraces are very unique, more than just the water feature and so forth. Because when you're on the 85th or 95th floor of a building, to use the actual outdoor terrace is almost an impossibility because of the wind at that level. But we were able to wind engineer the terraces and the penthouses, and created this incredible technology of the envelope and the wind moving around the terrace, similar to an airplane wing, so that you actually don't feel any of the wind velocity. And so you can be outside having dinner, entertaining, and there is no wind that would affect, you don't feel it.
That's amazing.
And that's something that to me is one of the most unique features of the terraces, of having that outdoor space at over 1,000 feet up in the air.
That's true.
And having, the air quality and the fresh air at 1,000 feet, and overlooking the city, and overlooking, Lake Ontario all the way to the US. I mean, it's just incredible. But the water feature is one of those aesthetics that marvels. But for me, it's the fact that it's actually a functional, usable space that you can entertain in.
That's awesome. That's definitely a main selling feature. Yeah. What do you hope residences of the Penthouse collection feel when they first step into their residences?
Wow. That's all I want, is the feeling of wow. Good. I want them to walk in, and just every time they walk into their home, to get a feeling of wow. And if you think about it, how many things in life do that? How many things in life do you get wowed out anymore? And so for us, it's the design spaces and design homes that people love to walk into and live in. And when you think about it, how many times you get up in the morning and love to be wherever you are, right?
That's true.
And so we're really trying to define that art and to make that emotional feeling for the homeowner or guests or anyone who enters that space, to be wowed by it. And if we've achieved that, we've succeeded.
That's awesome. Can you describe the penthouse residences, the limited collection, in one sentence?
It's unique. It'll never be done again. This is one of a kind. And I don't know how to rebuild something like that again.
Because this goes to one of my other questions, but I'll get to that question. Before I get to it, fun question.
Yeah.
So as you know, NEEZO created an 11-foot scale model that was on display at the Toronto of the Future exhibition at Metro Hall.
Yes.
And you know, when we do a scale model, it's like a mini version of the building. So when we were building it and putting, the pieces together, we noticed something with the trusses.
Yeah.
And this is where the fun question comes in. Was it on purpose that you did the trusses in a way where you see the letter M on the sides of the building?
Well, it just happened to turn out that way, but the trusses are the M's on the building.
Okay,
yeah, and
good.
they work into the structural engineering.
So we noticed it.
Yeah.
And that's why.
It's
Okay,
a
good to
secret.
know.
It's a secret little element of the building that if you don't see it, you don't know it.
Subliminal message.
It's but
That's
it's there. It's part of the structural engineering, and it happened to be formed in the there was many different ways to form it, and with the triangles, and happenstance happened to be that it's the M's.
Okay, good.
of the building.
That's good to know. Every building of such magnitude has a story. How would you tell yours?
It's really in the pursuit of excellence. What we wanted to do was move boundaries and to do things that everyone said was impossible, and to allow for those possibilities to happen so others can follow and be able to do greater things. And the one was really, it's the first super tall building in Canada. It's the first skyscraper. It's the first of its kind. And we hope that others will be able to do more of these types of buildings in Canada. It sets Canada on the international map in terms of architectural design and many other elements. And we're very proud and very grateful that we were able to do that and do it in Canada.
And to have the opportunity
to do it in Canada. And it was really a collaboration with the city. We didn't do it alone. It took years of collaborating with the city and with all the stakeholders, and we actually got a better building out of it.
Yes.
So it celebrates Toronto, it celebrates Canada, and it's arguably the second most important focal point in the skyline after the CN Tower. And since CN Tower was built, which was in the late 70s, we hadn't really done anything on that level in Canada architecturally, and we're very proud of the one to be able to be the first to achieve that again.
And do you think you'll ever top the one? This is what goes back to the other statement. Nope. And do you think this will define your legacy? This is what will define your legacy.
I think from can we do anything to top the one? Who knows? I mean, the one is unique. Anything we do will be different than the one, and it's not so much to top or it'll be different. The one will stand on its own, and I don't think it can be repeated. I can't repeat the one in terms of what it's done in Toronto or in Canada, but we are doing other projects that are as unique as the one, but they'll be different to the one. In terms of legacy, my dream is to be able to have Canada be rewarded by doing, providing things and being able to demonstrate and show that it could be at the same level of other international cities and countries, and to compete at that level and be able to demonstrate success at that level. And the one architecturally on the landscape does that, and Canada's done that on so many other fronts, in terms of other sectors, yes. Art, culture, many other things. And from the architectural standpoint, the legacy for me is to see that Canada does that on the architectural map as well as how successful it is in every other sector, that Canada is such a great country.
I think because we've worked on it from, with our different services, it's just an amazing building, and the location of where it is and the colors that you chose with the champagne and the way it's like a jewel in the city. Yeah. It's amazing, especially if someone is looking for luxury and they want to live in a high rise compared to the mid-rises that you have on this strip. So definitely it's something to always talk about in Canada, and definitely for us, we were so proud to promote the scale model at that time, because it was, representing the tallest building that's coming to Canada. So it definitely looks amazing.
It's really amazing to be able to build something that is going to set Canada on the luxury map, as from a luxury standpoint.
For sure, because sometimes when people think of Toronto, they see the CN Tower.
Right.
But with this one,
it sets it up on the same...
There's a jewel in the sky.
Right. Same way as New York, Chicago,
For sure.
Buildings in Manhattan, buildings in Chicago, buildings in Tokyo, in Hong Kong, and many other international cities. Canada and Toronto hadn't yet done something like that on that platform. And the one definitely puts it on that platform.
For sure, for sure. Name someone who inspires you and why. It can be anyone.
My father inspires me. My mother inspires me. My family inspires me. Why? They taught me never to give up. They taught me to always, reach for the stars and you'll make the moon. And everything I do is really to see the lives of everyone around me be better. So everything that we've done in our career has been that everybody that comes into contact with us to say they were better off knowing us than not. And so the homes we're building are some of the most important elements of someone's personal life. It's the roof you put over their head. And so my inspiration are those who want to achieve greatness and want to make the lives of others greater and better. And for me, it starts with family.
Absolutely, absolutely. Family is always there for you, no matter what. Can you finish this sentence for me? Toronto of the future looks like?
Bright, incredible, and it will exceed everyone's expectations.
If you keep building these beautiful buildings, I'm sure it will. How important to your business are the services of NEEZO, especially that it's a true one-stop creative studio?
Very. I mean, NEEZO, as you know, Aline, from day one was very critical to bringing to life our vision before the actual building was ever built, or even the first shovel ever put in. So you come up with an idea and a dream, and then you have to articulate that dream into some sort of imagery. And so in order to get the right imagery and the right dream presented and to articulate it so that you can actually then have the success and all the conditions precedent to build it, it starts with the renderings, because that's what people see first. And it's the first impression. What are you building? What are you selling? What is it that I'm going to live in? What is it that you want approvals for? What is it that we're financing? And if those presentations of those renderings are not at that level, it speaks volumes about everything else. So for us, NEEZO was very critical in our success to be able to articulate what our dream was and how we were going to achieve it. And if you look at the renderings and you look at the actual buildings, I often look back at them and I walk by the buildings and I look at actual photographs of the building and the renderings. And I don't know which one's which. This is our aim. It's quite interesting. And but it's critical to the success, because the genesis of any of these developments start with the dream and the vision, and then you have to show it. And if you don't have that detail that you have at NEEZO to show it, it actually puts the project at a disadvantage and tells the wrong story. So you've helped us tell the story, and you've helped us to be able to show the story. And renderings, they say, a picture is 1,000 words. So it allows it to be, 2,000 words, and at the level that you guys do things. So we're very pleased with it.
We love what we do, and your projects were always amazing to work on.
And at the end of the day, it's attitude that is the most important thing, and that delivers success. And it's not just the skill sets, but it's the attitude, and you guys have both, and it's been a great recipe.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for entrusting NEEZO to work on your penthouse collection. We enjoyed every aspect of creating, designing to renderings and animation and bringing your vision to life. And I hope you are extremely happy with the outcome. And I wish you all the best of success in selling the penthouses, because they deserve, they're amazing.
Thank you. And we wish you continued good fortune in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.